leading into that other aspect, that what Mike had come up with yesterday, and we were in several different topics. And when you came on last time, Grant, we never really delved into it. It was towards the end of the show, and Mike brought up near-death experiences, and that's something that you really wanted to address, and we want to take that time tonight to do that as well. But we were talking yesterday about past life regressions and reincarnations, and even some aspects of children who speak languages that they couldn't possibly know or have experience they couldn't possibly know. And we've all looked at it as just our souls being regenerated into a new body, in a sense. Until Mike, while he was jogging on his track last night, calling into the show, had an amazing viewpoint to it. And Mike, if you would, kind of introduce that and discuss it, but it was amazing.
I just called in to listen to the show while I was out walking and jogging my laps, and Matthew actually came to me for rebuttal occasionally, and I was glad he did last night, because I kind of had this epiphany that, we get, when we talk about past lives and people saying that they had these experiences in deja vu and situations like that, that I thought about genetics bring many of us our hairline, heart disease, cancer, obesity.
Bald heads and goatees.
There you go, bald-headed goatees. That if Marianne and I love New Orleans. We travel down there. I do a little paranormal investigating. We listen to music. We love the food. We're huge jazz people. We go down to Frenchman Street. The example I gave her was if her great-granddaughter one day after she had passed took her first trip to New Orleans and was down on Frenchman Street and says, I feel like I've been here before. Maybe in a past life. No, maybe it was your great-grandmother who your genetic makeup is part of her, and part of her memory was given to you, and something just made that memory come up. That we think about a hairline and we think about heart disease and cancer, but could part of my memory be passed on from my biological grandfather, great-grandfather, and father? Could this be what we're having?
So, well, there is such a thing as, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Grant.
Well, there is such a thing as, genetic memory. I mean, that's kind of what they attribute instinct to, How does a baby turtle know, to head to the ocean, sea turtle and things like that.
Went last night with fish that swim back upstream. How do they know that they're supposed to head back up? Same thing.
Well, exactly.
What?
And, obviously, the Darwin angle of it, so to speak, is that only those fish that did that survived, and so it became a genetic thing. But we also know that if someone is, let's say, alcoholic, that they are genetically possibly predisposed to be that way. That doesn't mean you just give them a bunch of alcohol, but you know that you have a weakness and you need to overcome it. I imagine that somewhere, if you believe in past lives, somewhere that has to be encoded in you. And maybe it's not in your physical DNA, but maybe it's in a spiritual DNA that has been building over all these lifetimes. And, once we get someone to listen to us enough to build equipment to detect, measure, and analyze actual spirit matter, we won't know. We won't know that. But on this subject, it's interesting. I was actually talking to, I don't know if you met her or not, George, Sarah LaBrie at Parafest.
Oh gosh, I know Sarah very well. Yeah, we've been friends for a long time.
Sarah's fantastic. I started talking to her, and we were in the lobby talking with a bunch of us. And the other people got distracted, and I started talking to her about my original experience, and it just didn't fit into the realm of the paranormal. I still don't. I was able to validate it, but I still don't have any answers as to, I've yet to meet someone who's really skilled enough to help me with it. And I was talking to her about it, just giving her some clues, and she said, you know what? I wonder if one of your past lives was in another dimension. And I never even thought about that. And she said, what if your past life was on another planet? We always think about just being here on Earth. Like some people are just maybe not quite human all the way. And to me, that was interesting as she brought this up, that, we always think about everything centering around the Earth. Well, what if your past lives go into other planets or other dimensions? And what if someone who is very psychically gifted spent more past lives in on another planet or on another plane or whatever, and that's why they built up that, spiritual genetic, spiritual genes in order to be more receptive to it. So I don't know. You can talk about this stuff all